We've been working since from Tuesday.
Welcome on, welcome all to your wonderful show here. We're back again at Sankofa here, your favorite station. And thank you very much for giving us access into your homes, on your phones, wherever you are, in Brazzaville, in Congo, you are in Abuja, in Nigeria, you are in Uganda, Kampala, or you are in Freetown, or Dar es Salaam, you are in Angola, you are in Zimbabwe, Mozambique, Lorenzo Max, you are in Nairobi, Kenya, or you're in South Africa. And some of you are also watching us on your handsets. You're sitting in your car, you're in your home, you are whiling up your day. It's another Sunday. And what do we do on Sundays? We revisit our ancient ways. We visit our ancient cultures. We get information from the older people just to know how was it like in the past. Then we can know what it must be like in the present. And I noticed that as we are beginning conversations with our wonderful guest, King Bhungane, who has been gracious to us for the past couple of weeks to give us his side of the story on the greater Embo Kingdom. We want to encourage also other cultural leaders out there. And this is one of the biggest problems that Africans will always have. It is that when someone brings up information, we have all the reasons as to say, why is that information wrong? This platform is available. Come forward, bring your information. Phone the numbers that are appearing on the screen for our shows. You are a cultural leader, you are an Induna, you are a chief, you are a king, you work in any other platforms. The whole idea is that as a modern generation, we needed to start championing a process of downloading oral traditions and converting them into the formal education space. Today, we are again graced by His Royal Majesty King Bhungane III. He is with us to take us through another exciting, and I tell you, to be a gripping session we are having today on the issues of funerals and the rituals and burial rites. If you are living in the 21st century, you know it very well. Funerals can cost from 5, 10, 15, 20,000 right up into $1 million. Where people are buying caskets, where people are buying expensive boxes. And the funeral business has become a very big business with prior tiers, during tiers, after tiers. Cars must be hired. And by the way, many of our economic structures are actually founded on our funerals. You find that many of us are millionaires only after we die because we buy funeral policies. Our insurance companies are making sure that we are buried. None of them, if not many of them, are interested in how we are living. We want today to take a very deep look, very closer look at the ancient ways. How did they used to bury in the ancient times? How are we burying now? And what are all these rites and rituals that happen around the funerals? When you die in town, people come there with a piece of a bush and they say they're lifting up your spirit and they're taking to another place. When they are crossing rivers, there are conversations that are happening. You must go and sleep in the house. You must go and sleep in the church. You know, people do all sorts of rituals and then you must be lifted, put in the grave, waters to wash your hands. Where must the person be facing when they are being buried? Who is buried in the water? Who is buried in the mountain? Who is buried in the air? And who must touch a dead body? And who is not allowed to touch a dead body? And what happens to the spirit of a person when they die? I don't know if we'll be able to cover all those various aspects, but I'm giving you such a long introduction so that at least you can have a landscape of how much information we're going to be covering. And don't be afraid. All of us who are listening to this program, you are all going to end up in the graveyard. You are all going to end up with the undertakers. We're here for a little while. After that, we pass. There are rituals of birth, there are rituals of life, and there are rituals that must be done to the underworld and when we pass over to the other side. How do we cross from one realm to the other? And many of us, because of our Christian experiences, we tend to want to undermine and underestimate. You can just bury anyhow. You can just do anyhow. A person who is not related to you, surnames are wrong. And you collect all these kind of spirits that are around your homestead. The question is, what is the impact of improper burial rites and how, traditionally speaking, must burials be conducted? And let me put the last disclaimer clause. Many of you out there are getting worried and get totally disillusioned. Maponga is supposed to be a bishop. He's supposed to be a pastor of a church. How can he be talking things like this? Well, first comment to you I can give you is none of your business what I talk about. Secondly, you can find me as an educationist. You can find me as a culturalist. You can find me as a minister of religion. You can find me as a philosopher. You can also find me in my royal capacity. And having said that, therefore, you need to know when you're approaching me from which angle and from which path you are coming. I'm not going to die in this world, leaving the African nation languishing in poverty and lack of mind and thought processes. Wherever there is information, I will look for it. I will find it, and I will share it. We need to know and compare apples with apples and not wait for European people to explain to us who we are and where we come from. Welcome to the show, Your Royal Highness King Bhungane III. And maybe just royal greetings. It's a pleasure to have you on the program again. Spacing how yini ngaphandle kwa Nkosi yakho.
Oh, sami ngiphansi nami. Nami ngiyalawulwa. Ngiphethwa amakehla, ngiphethwa abogogo. Ngiphethwa umdali. Njengoba ngila emhlabeni nje ngiholwa yibo. Angiziphethanga mina. Ngaphansi kwabo.
Now, today I want us to take maybe a very gentle but thorough conversation around rituals. Maybe you can start off first of all, just on top of the program, to explain to us what is a ritual in general terms.
You are introducing a very sensitive topic. This topic, it is a topic that can be perceived by those who assume to be spiritual but not spiritual. Until we define spirituality to understand the rituals that we are talking about today. Because we've got different misconceptions today about spirituality. Let me define spirituality in my own definition. And that definition that I am going to place onto this discussion on this show today, it is a definition that it has to do with somebody who's divine. It has to do with divinity. Now, before you can talk about rites and passages or rituals, I think first let us define who we are. We are people that I always refer as abantu abangoni, people who do not dwell into sin, people who are being placed onto this planet by the Creator. And these people, they have something that God gave them and put into their body, into their system. It is called melanin. Let me tell you, no white man has that. Only we, the people of this color, has that. And Bantu people. And that melanin, it is something that defines who you are. It connects you with the cosmos. It connects you with the waters. It connects you with the Creator. And
that is a software for connection.
It is a software for connection.
Modern language.
Absolutely. And that, when you are connected, the connection then defines your culture. It defines your traditions. It defines what we would refer you as a nation who is spiritual. Our mistake, we have totally detached from that connection because we have assumed another identity of the white man. We are told of religions that are never connected
to anything.
Thus we have disconnected and we have lost the contact. That's why we bury in this way that we are burying. And that's why our culture, our traditions, our customs has nothing to do with the Creator.
But with the white man.
The white man put us into that corner. And we think we are the in thing. we are the real thing, into find out you are not.
Nothing.
You are nothing, because you do not exist without a definition of yourself as a nation. We are people who are people of Abangoni, who are spiritual, who are connected with the cosmos, who are connected with the Creator. Out of that, then you'd when you practice divinity, the divine spirit, when you engage onto it, it elevates you into certain levels, certain categories, where you are able to connect and build this friendship with the Creator. You see, a white man will tell you, you must fear God. I don't fear God. But me and the Creator are friends. Because I have worked for all these years into this category to be connected with
and
the,
be able to relate.
Absolutely. Thus he is able to release information. Somebody whom you fear cannot relate, because there's no friendship between the two.
Someone wrote and said, religion says I have sinned or I have made a mistake.
Yes.
I don't know what my Father will do to me.
Yes.
Spirituality says I have made a mistake.
Absolutely.
Let me call my Father.
Let me call my Father.
There's a difference is
because the Father must be the one that assists you to show you the way that you are out of the way or you are on the way. Because if you understand spirituality in my context, it makes you to be friends
with divinity.
With divinity. And that divinity, then God is able to say to you, you see that person there, take that water and pray for that water to heal that person.
It's service.
The Creator, because me and him are friends, he is able to tell me his secrets of this world and the secrets of heaven. He tells me of a tree to say, you see that tree there?
It has
1, 2, 3. If you can use that tree, it can heal 1, 2, 3, 4. I do not fear God, but I respect him as my friend that I've connected with. And out of the connection, he then, the type of behavior I find myself in that space, it then defines me as a person. It then makes me to be humble. It then makes me to have those rites of passages, those rituals, the conducts. Then it makes me to be a humble person. Wow. So then out of that, then you'd understand to say, I am a different person because I have ceased to exist as a person. But
divinity exists.
It has taken over, absolutely.
In me.
It has taken over.
Your sleeping time is consultation time.
Yeah, it's consultation time.
Your living is expression.
Absolutely, because you are now being told, move, don't move, sit down,
don't eat,
do not do this, say this is how things must be done, because you are now
connected.
That's all.
Wow, I actually came up with the thank you very much. Thank you very much, Bayet. I came up with a definition once, which was quite in my own meditation, which says the basic form of humanity, when we define spirituality, it is the ability to connect to nature, firstly, because without your natural habitat, you can't practice spirituality. And now when you leave us in concrete houses, you leave us in town houses where there is noise, there are cars, we're eating junk foods, we are not sleeping properly, we're not eating properly. How do you practice spirituality in modern times?
How do you practice spirituality? And God says, when you communicate with me, open your hands. so that I should put blessings.
Now, when you pray, you must kneel down and close your arms.
Yes, and close.
Bamba lapo Nkosi yami, Bamba. When you come back after the break, we'll start unpacking these rites of passage. Here live with me on the program today, King Bhungane III, who is taking us through the ancient African traditions, particularly on the line of burial rites and rites of passage for the modern African child. Don't go away. We'll be back right after the break.
Tech Talk brought to you by Tamani Technologies and Systems. Tamani Technologies and Systems takes leadership in fourth industrial revolution. The whole world is facing a transformation. The revolution will be developed into the following stages: digitization, cyber security, Internet of Things, managed services, document management, and business applications. We provide business transformation and ICT solutions with presence in 13 African countries and 2 European countries. We are your leading partner in integrated platform providers, innovation leaders, standalone products, and innovation pace setters. Tamani Technologies and Systems, delivering value across continents.
Feel the heat.
Just watch this. Let the pictures tell you everything.
It's all the way through.
Oh, what about that? That was really special. Those are the moments that supporters will remember.
Feel the excitement. That was delightful. Feel the heat with StarSat.
In the modern days, the African child pretends to be confused. Everything around us works with a system, whether it's a business plan, whether you're building a house. You must have a plan. You must buy the ground. Then you must put a foundation. You don't put a roof on top of the ground. There's a way in which a house is built. Similarly, even in agriculture, you open the ground, you plant the seed, you water the seed, then you can harvest. Then the wood and etc. you move. But when it comes to African culture, many of us want to pretend like we don't know what must happen. Things must just happen at the end. And I think it's important for this morning for us to take a few steps backwards and understand. And hence my first question: what are rituals? What would define as rituals? What sort of rituals must be done before a person is born? What rituals must be done when a person is born? And then life is full of expression of rituals. So that at the end of the day, by the time you die, it's rituals. Because even Christianity, deliberately I say this, even Christianity pretends that it does not believe in rituals. But they drink the blood of Jesus. They eat the flesh of Jesus. They baptize in the waters. They return tithes and offerings. They have uniforms for putting on to church. They have ways of doing, and all these things tell me that they're not rituals. The whole concept of Easter, it's rituals of carrying up the cross and the 7 letters of Jesus and all that stuff and these rites and rituals with music, with drums and etc., with Western keyboards and music instruments to evoke the spirit. Whether he comes or not, it's another story. But in your own explanation, when you look at this issue of African rituals, what sort of key rituals must happen to a person prior to birth, at birth, during birth, at life, by the time before you can take us to the grave? I want you maybe just to step back a little bit.
Right. Remember, as I said, a family becomes involved into a marriage. Before you, the child, be it the girl or be it the boy, especially from the side of the male, before they arrange a marriage for you, they go to the seers to go and check
the information,
the database, if it is a befitting family for us to get married into. Did they abide by the rules of spirituality?
Are they connected?
Are they connected? Absolutely. So that when they marry there, they do not want any curse to befall.
To be inherited.
By this
by the new family.
By the new family. That's why they have to go and consult 3 or 4 people differently, who are totally independent, who do not know
from
each other. Absolutely. Then they will tell you to say, this is the right one. Then when they've done that ritual of arranging, they go and ask with a certain token, could be kettles, whatever, and then they arrange a marriage where this child, this young girl,
is being brought up,
and then they bring this child, this young girl, into this family. But the family where she is born, they kill her, meaning they remove that particular surname where she was born into a new surname, and assuming a new identity. The name and the surname are removed. And then when she arrives into
she inherits
absolutely the new family where she's been married into, then she's taught the traditions
of that family.
Yes, the rituals, how things are done. But again, they are also taught how sex does not just happen. They are taught how they should ask the gods and to inform the gods, now we are about to engage into 1, 2, 3. We would seek your blessings so that when we engage sexually, we would be able to conceive a child, and that child would be a blessed child, because it won't be just an ordinary child that would be on earth, but that child would be with a certain mission on earth. I'll continue again. Out of that, then they know that this child must be raised in a spiritual way, and this child would be conducting in the certain way, meaning that child, when he or she is 1 month, is taken into the river, because remember, Zomongan came from the river next to the reeds, so they must go and deliver the child to the founding father of this Bantu nation. You understand? So abukwe, with
smear
the clay, smear with the mud, that clay from the river, and wash that, so that the aroma connects with the waters. That's I said, melanin, it helps you to connect with the waters. It connects with, it helps you to connect with the cosmos. Out of that child, then there's a certain ritual that is done, where they are, when the placenta is
umbilical cord falls off,
and the placenta is given to the crabs, so that there's a connection. But the same thing again happens again when this child is 1 year. There's a certain ritual also that is done, but this child is raised in a spiritual environment. He or she is taught to say, this is how you must connect, this is how you must pray, and then when that connection is done, then you would know out of that this child is a blessed child.
And it's an identifiable child.
Not a child where they sit somewhere and they slept somewhere and then the child comes out, and then remember that child, there's no identity. There's no person who's claiming that child. There's no family that has been involved into engaging into marriage.
Just entertainment.
Absolutely. So now when now out of that, there are certain rituals that now you must understand as a family. When a person happens to die, I don't know, should I go to that one?
Let's go. Let's go, because we are getting there. We look at various scenarios of death. The whole thing today is about death.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
When a person, there's a certain conduct that you must adhere to before you die. You must know that you are part of the connection.
So you must know before you die.
Absolutely.
You don't just die like a grasshopper.
No, you don't die, because when the family would know what rituals they must engage.
Because but what you're saying is very important, because not all death is the same.
Absolutely.
Some are dying at war.
Absolutely.
Some are dying during mischief.
Absolutely.
Some are dying in accidents.
me
Some are
tell you.
dying in prison.
me
Some
tell
are
you.
dying from poisoning.
Yes.
So the way you die.
Absolutely. It depends how you conduct the rituals. I'll tell you of another scenario that happened here in Gauteng. A man left his wife.
Yeah.
Told his wife that I'm going to visit who
Where,
into a
where?
meeting where.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, he was going to a girlfriend.
Wash and cook.
He sleeps that evening
At the girlfriend's place.
at the girlfriend's place.
Uh-huh.
He wakes up as a corpse.
Why, yeah.
How do you contact that wife
To say
and the family to say your husband
Is here
and your child
Yeah.
has died
in my bed.
In my bed.
There's a humorous story. You know that aeroplane that disappeared in Goziab? This aeroplane is in Malaysia.
Yes. Yes, I remember that.
They say
one.
another man,
Yes.
we watch in Goziab, he is flying to such a place. And then he took the flight number of that flight and gave to his wife that he was going somewhere else. Meanwhile, he was going to the girlfriend's place.
Absolutely.
And now the aeroplane he has an accident.
Absolutely.
And everybody dies.
So you must consider that man as a dead person.
The wife conducted the funeral, but the man is stuck with the girlfriend's place. How do you come back home and say, no, I was not on the aeroplane?
Absolutely.
No.
Same, like, this is a true story what I'm talking about. Now, this man died. There was a problem. Now, how do you conduct rituals
In this family? In this
girlfriend's
girlfriend's
family? Absolutely.
Yeah. Because now
Because you must remove his spirit.
from here.
How do you do that? Now, that's I
You have
said.
stolen goods in your bed.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yaphukela esandleni sakho.
yaphukela esandleni sakho. How do you do that?
Let's start with that one.
Yes.
But let's hear, I like stories. What happened to that story first? What happened?
Okay, it's a very interesting story. The wife came
To the girlfriend's place.
the girlfriend's place with the family.
Shame.
Then he was carrying a stick. That is the ritual.
The wife.
The wife. He started beating the corpse.
Okay.
That was their ritual.
Okay.
He beat the corpse. He says, "Yeah, who's fed?
Okay.
I'm shy.
You are a prostitute.
Yeah, we are a prostitute. This is where we've end up. Now I'm releasing you out of this house. Get out, your bitch." That's what happened.
Yeah.
You understand? But the question is not that.
Why
Where he is going.
Yeah.
That is the most
Complicated.
complicated one. How is he received
There.
by his ancestors and by the God?
When he has been expelled from here as a prostitute.
How do you sit down and discuss his crime that he has committed? How do you open the gates of heaven with this such a crime?
Let's just go
Because
back.
It's not only about him dying in that. Now there are certain traditions, customs, or rites that we have to follow.
Okay.
Firstly,
So this is typically in the event.
this is a
you
true
die,
story.
You
Absolutely.
die in a wrong place.
You die in the wrong place.
So let's
remember,
let's
you are a married person.
Person.
You have left your home with a lie.
Number one.
Number one. Number two, you die in
the hands of a wrong woman.
a wrong woman.
You could be a wrong husband also.
Absolutely, could be
In
a
a
wrong.
hotel.
Absolutely.
You could take someone.
Absolutely.
Take someone's wife to a
Absolutely.
hotel. Or
Absolutely.
she
Now,
dies in your house.
now, how are you perceived by your children? How are you perceived by your neighbors? How your relatives? Because what we have done, I want to go back to this one. As Joshua Mapong, the surname is not your surname.
Not mine. In my case, even the first name is not mine.
Absolutely.
No.
Absolutely. So, now, so hlaze wena, you have disgraced umkhulu nalamagama amanye. Your family, you have put your family into a mud. The question is, what type of rituals do you engage into in cleansing that
kind of a scenario?
That kind of a scenario. Firstly, what do you do? Your family must engage with the family
Of the girlfriend.
Okay. But before they do that, they must first go and pay the damage onto this woman.
The one you were, the girlfriend.
So that I was the wife.
The wife. Oh.
I was bored.
Okay. So we need firstly the family.
Because we need her to go with us to that particular situation.
She's going to marry a second wife, this one.
Yes. Now this is a wife. You have died in another place as a girlfriend. And you have lied going there. You have said, when I'm we are meeting wasemsebenzini.
Right here in Midrand. He phones his wife, says, I'm going to Cape Town. I'm going to Cape Town. Labe Mitra, next to Photocom. Then he disappears. The wife is driving from Senten on her way to Pretoria, back to Pretoria. How? Bang. Here is the Audi belonging to the husband. Wherefore, she phones the husband and says, hey, sweetie, where are you? The husband opens up the window. He goes, hey, I'm in Cape Town. There's lots of wind here. And the woman is following behind the Audi now. And the woman says, oh, really? How is Cape Town? Yeah, there's lots of wind in Cape Town here. And who is this car that I'm looking at in front here? There was a speed, almost accident was caused on this road here. Now husband running away from the. But so these are real things that are happening and real issues that happen. So I want you at home there to be listening very carefully. We shall be looking at a few scenarios in terms of rituals and how people come out from the ritual. So the first ritual we hear, in case a husband dies in the wrong house, or in case a wife dies in the wrong house also, because both cases are true. So the first thing is to find forgiveness.
Forgiveness from your wife.
Even from the husband also.
So that there must be a buy-in.
Let's work with the wife first.
Absolutely. There should be a buy-in from your wife. And jointly with the family, you are able to go there with a clean spirit.
Wow.
To go and release that spirit out of that particular house. Where you are going to also engage with a certain ritual in that house. Because you cannot leave the spirit of your child into that house. But when you go there dividedly, then it's not going to work out. As I said initially, what you need to do is to have a buy-in of this other victim.
You know what is so interesting? What is so interesting is that Christians don't want to talk about this.
Yes.
But they get involved in these things.
It's true.
Now, boom, you are an elder of a church, a pastor of a church. You believe in whatever you believe in. I don't believe in these things. I don't believe in these things.
But there
it happens. And before you bury or do anything, you are stuck in the mess. So this for me is information that is way out. Because you may end up in the house of a person who is an unbeliever, so to speak. The question is, how do you deal with these things and get these situations resolved?
Absolutely. So what you then do, you go there with a clean spirit as a team.
As a team.
You go and release that particular...
From that home?
That home.
Okay. But in terms of rituals of asking for forgiveness from the wife, what goes in there?
For an example, the family...
A goat, a chicken, or...
It's a goat.
It's a goat.
But you must first sit down with the wife and agree.
These are the uncles, the aunties.
But it's not only the wife as we are talking to. The ancestors of this home.
They are in here.
Yeah, you first start with the wife, then you say jointly, let us start with the chickens to say, Siandlala. We are preparing the way. So that when we engage the spirits to ask for forgiveness for making this surname to be in the mud, we are cleaning that.
We remember Bella, that she came into the house through the cross.
Absolutely.
So we know.
Yes.
Yeah,
now you are asking for forgiveness from the gods to say there now then you ask that happens. Actually, maybe you have removed the corpse. Maybe the corpse is in the mortuary. But that conduct in that week, it must be done. So what happens is that you then go there as a delegation. You exclude the wife from engaging. She can be there. But she must now understand to say, there we are not going to fight.
We are looking for peace now.
We are looking for peace. And the peace is not about you making peace with that girlfriend.
No, no, no.
But it is about releasing the spirit.
Of this man.
So that this spirit must be able to go to the gods and go and sit down into a court case where he must be.
You must also answer on his
Absolutely.
own.
But if you are going to be fighting here, you are not assisting in this process.
Okay.
It's very important that.
That's clear.
Now, when they go there, also a certain animal needs to be taken
To the girlfriend's
Absolutely.
house now.
And then a certain herbs needs to be taken so that you clean that particular
house.
You cleanse that particular
That
house.
bed.
Absolutely. Maybe you buy a new bed.
And you burn that one.
You burn that one because it is with a spirit of your child.
My word.
You replace it so that you then cleanse that house. Then you say, we are sorry.
Imagine buying a bed for a girlfriend.
Because you,
I'm
are the one that we have messed up in that house.
But I'm saying to me, we feel I'm supposed to talk about responsibility.
Because we lie to these girls as males. That's why, end of the day, it is us that must take responsibility. Because we tell them the way we love them, we tell them the way things are going to be, then we forget that one day we might wake up dead in that bed.
My word.
That is very important, that we must take responsibility as the Bhunganes. To say we
clean up that room.
We are here to clean the room, but also the house and also the yard, so that nothing
that belongs to us remains here.
Absolutely. Then we then said we are sorry. Could be with a collateral damage that we say we are very sorry for 1, 2, 3 for this guy.
Actually, it is us who died in your house.
Absolutely, because he's carrying our surname, this man.
But I want us to compare that with modern language, where modern women, for example, might say, "No, it's me who must be claiming damage from her because she's the one who took my husband." But actually, in African tradition,
now remember the wife. She was killed from her family.
She's now part of us.
She's part of us. There were rituals that were done into this family for her to assume this name, to assume this surname in this family. She's part of this family.
She's part of us.
When she speaks as one family. So she does not operate alone. Absolutely.
Okay.
That's where I was coming from.
I love that. That sounds very.
That is very important. When she goes there, she must understand she's not representing herself.
It's the family.
It's a family. It's a collective decision, collective approach, collective speaking as a family. There you don't go and fight.
No, go and fight. We're going for peace.
I'll tell you a practical example. A case that was presented yesterday. Is it day before yesterday? Day before yesterday. Sunday,
Friday.
Yesterday. Is it yesterday?
Yesterday, Saturday.
What happened at the palace? A guy came in. He went to his girlfriend. He says he was drunk. This is a true story. Day before yesterday, it happened. They brought that case at the Crown. Enkundleni.
Yes, yeah.
So I was not part of it, but I was listening to the outcomes. Absolutely. The guy went back home. He was drunk.
Home or girlfriend? Home.
Girlfriend. Home, and then he went to the girlfriend.
Okay.
Now the wife. Wow, what a humble girl! What a humble woman! I've never seen. Yesterday I was at my palace. I was talking to myself last night. I said,
there are some people.
What a humble person. That woman, she's a divine spirit. I will tell you why. This guy decided to leave his house, go to his girlfriend. The girlfriend, I think, is enough with this guy.
Or some phone. Chased him away.
He shouts, he says, this guy wants to rape me. The community comes out, yes? Then this guy comes and says, it's true, I've been engaged with this woman.
For some time.
But some people say, no, it's not rape. They've been engaged for quite some time. This woman, she's lying. You understand? But why I'm bringing this item or this story, I'm seeing the wife. The wife is part of this discussion. But this wife, when you speak to her, she's, yeah, Baba. Yeah. Hi, Kinky. She is supporting this person who has committed a crime. To the last. They were punished yesterday. for 2 months. They went to Swaziland to come back after 2 months. I saw the woman with this guy, supporting this guy as if nothing happened.
Wow.
That is exactly what I'm talking about. When you say you are part of the family, part of the team. It is not about you to condemn them.
You marry the family.
Absolutely, you marry the family.
Individual.
Absolutely. That's what happened. This is a true story. I can take you.
Yesterday,
absolutely fresh. But she came in and says, "Bayethe ngonya, the meeting's over, ladies. Nyabo." I was like, I even asked the committee, please don't ban them. Says, no, it's not banning per se, but it's for this guy's protection because they want to kill this guy.
The community wants to kill, yes.
Just let's make the community to calm down. Then we will then bring back this guy.
Okay.
Just for 2 months, just for them to cool down.
Yeah.
I said, hey.
But their lives are in danger.
But there's this voice, this conduct that is haunting me of this woman.
No, man.
Now you get where I'm coming from.
Now getting rubbish with her.
So,
the pain of an innocent person being part of a...
Remember that tradition where they say a woman holds a knife where it is so sharp?
Yeah.
That's exactly what I saw.
Wow.
That's what I saw.
Ladies and gentlemen, when you come back after the break, we will hear more about how women hold the knife where it cuts the most. But I want to push King Bhungane on the other direction. What happens when a man takes a girlfriend and the girlfriend dies in his house or in a hotel room? Don't go away. It's going to get heated up in this room today.